Race number 5 at Belmont Park. It's Perth race number 9 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 2100 metres. And again, the usual bunch going against each other in these staying races for a midweek.
Absolutely. Doesn't it make a big difference what jockey you've got on board? Striking Star, a replay horse, got with the services of William Pike and duly saluted last start.
Now Sobriquet puts in its run. Striking Star ain't bad. Down the outside running on is Discoville. 250 left to go. Polonise, Sobriquet, Boutique, Striking Star, Discoville coming. 150 to go. Striking Star from Sobriquet. Discoville sticks on from Ain't Bad, but Striking Star boots away from them. And Striking Star, too good, beat Discoville.
With this horse, he's been knocking on the door for a while and finally did get to salute. Was in a race on Saturday, scratched from that occasion for this, and you can understand why with only the small field of the 10 runners and not a big difference between the best and the worst in this field. Barrier 2 should get a really nice run. I think William Pike sorted this horse out by just having to roll before they approach the top of the straight, and if they do that again, I think Striking Star can go back to back.
Yeah, settles a pair back for on my speed map. Good record, one over the track and distance. I think is a very, very good chance. We've also got number 1 in the race, Keysbrook Adam, which hasn't shown her best of recent times, but we know how good she can be.
Yeah, she does. And at the end of the day, her best has been against horses like Tradesman and Star Exhibit. So there's nowhere near the type of form lines in this. We know that at her best, she's had runs behind Delicacy and those type as well. Dark Alert in recent times. With the 57 kilos here, I think she's just the one to beat. She's got the class, the form lines, as I mentioned. She's tough and she's probably the most reliable stayer in this race, even though she's had the 31 starts for only 2 victories. You look at the prize money, already won 270,000.
The only one to get within the same postcode of Delicacy in the WA Oaks. Number 4 as well, Discoville. Good winning 2 starts back when I didn't back it, but I did it last start and it ran okay behind the Flirt. Just, I think things were more suited for the Flirt last start.
Well, the Flirt's a very good type as well, another Saturday galloper as well. So I think the run was good. The win before was very good as well. Steps back up to the 2100 metres. Hasn't won further than 1700, but we saw at Ascot this horse has the ability to stay and certainly be in the mix. Barrier 3 should get a really nice run here by Brad Putnam, but actually makes Striking Star worse in the weights for a 2-length defeat as well. So that was a minor concern for mine. But I am going to tip number 1 Keysbrook on top from 6 Striking Star, 4 Discoville and 5 Generous Choice.
6 for me, Striking Star to make it 2 from 2, 4 Discoville, 5 Generous Choice and 10 Major Detail.
Race number 6 is Perth race number 10 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1400 metres. Really looking forward to this race. You mentioned why wouldn't you put your horse with Justin Warwick, where we've seen Infatuated have its first run for the stable. Futurism's been going well. Flying Image should be suited by the conditions, and even a horse like Coruscation, which hasn't won for 400 days, has been racing consistent as well. So it does look a pretty open affair on paper.
It is, and 2 key form lines for mine, Adam. Point and In This Life, but we'll go straight into the replay of Two-Tone Blonde winning last start.
Tone Blonde, and last of all is Elite Flight at the 350 now, and Penthouse Pet given its head by Noski, sprints up, goes to the lead. High T starts to run on, Lil Sis battling away, followed further back then by Skylar Storm. Penthouse Pet, Sean the Persuader from Lil Sis. Two-Tone Blonde's coming through with a late burst. Penthouse Pet, Two-Tone Blonde and Lil Sis went to the line. There's another great finish.
Strong performance there by Two-Tone Blonde. It had absolutely nothing go its way. We'd seen bar plates going on. It is a horse that gets back and runs on strongly. Every race it had been on Leaders' Day. It had been drawing the car park in Barrier 11, but last start was a really good performance. It was going to be the last run for her if she didn't put in a good performance. Jason Miller put the blinkers on and she was well and truly out of the race 300, 400 metres to go. There was no chance that she was going to even get close to running a drum, and she's kept knuckling down. The turn of foot kept going. I spoke to Clinton Johnson Porter after, and he was impressed with the way that she did attack the line. Now again, conditions I think are not going to suit her racing pattern, but a mare that wins and it finds that form, maybe she can certainly play a part again. So I'm not willing to rule her out, but I think it'll be much harder.
Yeah, slightly forgotten in this field, going up at $13. I thought that was a little bit of overs, maybe single digits, maybe $8, $9. But yeah, still a chance in the race. We've also got, as you mentioned, number 6, Coruscation from the Paul Jordan yard. It's been racing really well, but hasn't won in a while.
No, it hasn't won for 400 days, as we mentioned, and has never won at the distance. 8 attempts and only placed on 2 occasions. 7 attempts at the track and distance for those 2 placings as well. So, although the form lines are reasonable with Foreseen and Chilly Reception, I think just the top horses in this race will find it out over the 14.
And the Now with Justin Warwick, number 1, Infatuated, coming off a long spell, earmuffs on, but recent trial was really, really impressive.
Yeah, the earmuffs were on in that trial, and it was pretty impressive. You mentioned wasn't asked to do a lot lot by Lucy Warwick. You take a look at the form, 10 starts, 3 victories and 4 placings. So this is a good horse. Has placed first up before as well. 59.5, maybe a small question mark there over the 1400, but I just think Infatuated is going to be too good, and that is the way that I'm going to tip. From number 4, Flying Image, 5, Belle Levy, and 3, Futurism.
6 on top for me, Coruscation. From 4, Flying Image, 3, Futurism, and 1, Infatuated.
Race number 7 at Belmont Park. It's Perth race number 11 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1200 metres, and a bit of excitement again to see On Trend go around second up. Of course, we mentioned first up that it was the pick of the yard, and for those that were tuned in, hopefully did support that horse and get on. But some nice ones in this with Bache, also the return of Hashtag. We know that Barzinho with only 52.5 kilos has to be respected as well. So it'll be a really good test for On Trend.
Yeah, let's have a look at the replay of On Trend winning last start at Belmont.
It's run the big fellow starting to wind up, coming to the middle. Sovereign Hall back behind them by the 250 though. Full Clip had led the way from Grey Enigma. Here comes On Trend with his run on the outside. He's letting down brilliantly. On Trend moved up. Illusion of Light kicks on the inside with Full Clip. Secret Charge. They beat off Grey Enigma. It's On Trend doing better than them though. Deeper out. On Trend too good. On Trend.
There's a couple of things against On Trend in this race. It was a leader's day again. Barrier 10. That was a small concern for Colin Webster, but this horse was always going to win at the top of the straight. Looked the pick of the yard by a long way. Race like that as well. And this is a 4-year-old that's got plenty of upside as well. He's only had the 4 starts, 2 victories and a second. Finally draws a gate here in Barrier 6. Had Barrier 11 went last run in last prep, and then Barrier 10 first up here. I just think this horse is going to be too good and be too good by a fair while as well. Bache will put the speed into the race, and this horse will be one running straight past them.
I really like the ride by Troy Turner on that day. The horse was wide, had cover though, but you had to sort of be sneaking up to make ground on that day. And it was a really good ride by Troy Turner. Keeps the ride here. We've also got number 12, Barzinho, as you mentioned, the 3-year-old Adam. He returns, and oh, how good was he first up? I remember you tipped him that day as well. Well done. $10 on that day, I think. And raced in the better races, went to the Roberts to try to get to that Derby distance. Didn't handle the class. 1200
metres is probably not ideal for this galloper, but it has shown, as you mentioned, fresh that it can run a race. Now, when it won, that was with 57.5 kilos. It's going around with 52.5 here. It has to be respected with that 5 kilo drop. You mentioned the runs against the Roberts. Look, it was beaten 12 starts on that occasion and ended up being the end of a step. But go back 3 runs, it was only beaten a length and a half by Culver. And again, that was with 58.5, so 6 kilos lighter for this run. Speed is going to be in the race with Bache, and on that day, it settled back and ran on when it won over the 1200 metres. They can do a similar ride here with Jordan Turner on board. They can steal this race. There's no doubt about it at all. So I am intrigued to see how it goes. But I'm going to go with the class, I think, with number 8 On Trend. From number 10, Bache, which will put the speed into the race. 12, Barzinho, and 5, Pop Hero.
Yeah, 8 on top for me as well, Adam. On Trend from 12, Barzinho, 7, Hashtag, and 2, Hold Your Tongue.
Race number 8 here at Belmont Park. It's Perth race number 12 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1650 metres, and I think we've got a pretty nice race here. So handy times. The director hasn't won for a while, but has been showing good signs. Rodeo drives, classy. Entrechard should just be getting better now with a couple of runs on the prep. Madame and Sonnen as well, another type that I think will really enjoy the step up in distance. So I think it's a pretty handy field to finish this off.
Very good race. I wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want to be hanging on this for your quad in the last leg. But we'll have a look at the replay of last start winner, Madame.
The outside, Dante's Destiny. Cosmar Domination trying to find a run back towards the inside. Vital Power with Myaki Mac. They're across the track, and Medom is starting to wind right up with 150 left to go. Buckshot Flyer, Young George gathered up by Medom, who wants to dive in. Hayes got it though at full flight. Medom reached the lead from Source of Survival, and Medom, although running...
Had just been building Madame as well. The start before had been well supported and was narrowly beaten by Discoville, which we've already touched upon the form lines a little bit earlier on. Last start again was supported and then ended up saluting. Laid in really bad on this occasion. Now, William Pite takes a ride because Paul Harvey decides to stay with Sonnen, but I think this horse can certainly go back to back. We mentioned that in the post-race interview with Trevor Angen. He believed this galloper had a few more wins as well, and just seems to be maturing and enjoying being back out there after a bit of a period there where the horse was quite lost, to be honest, after it had a pretty good reputation with Adam Durant.
Yeah, it's good to see that horse break through last start. And the other horse, as you mentioned, number 5, Sonnen, Paul Harvey goes on. Second up here, has won second up before, and its first up run was really good behind Sigil. I do have my question marks around that form behind Sigil, but it's still a good run.
Yeah, it was a really good performance on that occasion. A leader's day, and this is a stayer that ended up running on. Got home in the fastest final section of the day, 35 flat there in the final 600 metres. So big upside there. Second up record is good. Steps up to the 1650. Don't be surprised from barrier 5 if this horse goes forward now as well. And if they do, I think it can steal it. It's a quality galloper, especially when it gets over that distance. And Paul Harvey choosing to stay with this over Madame, I think is a really good lead.
Absolutely. Well, number 1 as well, the director, as you mentioned earlier, Adam. Comes into this off a trial, pulled up with cardiac arrhythmia last start, had to go do the standard embargo, the ECG, and then trial. Trial was asked to do absolutely nothing. Comes back here, barrier 11 is the query, as well as the 58 kilos, but I think this horse has somewhat of a class edge on these.
It does, but this goes into the bracket, and we've been saying it a fair bit at Belmont in recent times, a sucker horse. The Director is one that looms up plenty of times, but just hasn't won now for 277 days. As you mentioned, the form line's really good, beaten under 2 lengths by Cool Passion, 1.5 lengths by Drooper. So on form, you probably have it on top in this race, but just doesn't know how to win. Will get back, which will be against it, and we'll have to do a lot of work running on from barrier 11. So I think it's in the mix, but I wouldn't want to be putting my house on it, as you said, if you're trying to go one out in the quaddy. So I am going to go with number 5, Sonnen here, from 3, Entrechar, number 10, Cape Revival, and 2, Rodeo Drive.
Number 1 on top for me, Adam, the Director, from 4, Madame, 7, Checkers, and 2, Rodeo Drive.
Time now to take a look at the best bets for the card, and I'm going to go with the first here. Race 1, number 6, High Conviction. I don't think there'll be any issues this time. They should just be winning. And then race 7, number 8, On Trend.
Yeah, particularly if it's the leader's day, Adam, I'm with you. Race number 1, number 6, High Conviction. And race 4, number 8, Just a Jingle for me.
As we always say, do follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter. And visit perthracing.com.au for all your event information. Plenty of good events coming up with some quality racing over the next couple of weeks as well. On behalf of both of us, hopefully we found you a couple of winners. We'll be back again with another edition of Box Seat later on in the week.